Welcome here to the second section of the course, and in this section we're gonna go and explore Photoshop. I just want to say that if you're jumping into the courses now because you have skipped the first section, then I just want to say welcome here to this section and much fun here learning about Photoshop. Now, if you came from the first section and you've progressed all the way now here to the second section, then I want to say congrats to you. You've done a pretty amazing job, and I hope you've come to learn a lot in the first section about Lightroom, and I hope that you're ready here now to learn more about Photoshop. Now, in this lesson, we're gonna go and touch upon the basics of Photoshop and the tools that we will need to edit photos. Let's jump in here into Photoshop, and let me start off by explaining layers and layer masks, because layers and layer masks are what Photoshop works around. You will use them all the time in Photoshop, and knowing what they are is important in being able to use them correctly. And I will explain to you the basic around what a layer and a layer mask is and the difference between them. And don't be afraid if it doesn't make sense too much yet. It can be definitely a bit confusing or unclear in the beginning, but in the third section, when we will start editing our photos, you will come to see me use layers and layer masks all the time, and you will also start understanding more and better what exactly they do and what they are for. Let me explain what a layer is. Right here, we can see a blue layer, and here at the right side, we can see layer 1, which is a red layer, layer 2, which is a blue layer. Now, the best way to explain layers is by giving an example. You can see them as a piece of paper. Right here, we have the red layer. That's the bottom piece of paper. And we have the blue piece of paper there, that layer. We have just put that on top of it. So right now we can only see the blue layer. We can only see the blue piece of paper because the red one is at the bottom. It is there, but we just can't see it right now because it's just covering the blue paper, just covering the red paper completely. But if we will click here on this eye, which will reveal and unreveal, you can see the red layer appearing, right? So it is there. If we click on that eye again, we are putting that piece of paper back on. Now, if I would take the eraser tool, and we're gonna touch upon all those tools in a minute, and I will go and cut with my eraser tool through it, you can see we're cutting through that blue piece of paper, and the red piece of paper is now revealing. So that's basically how layers work. You are putting you're putting them on top of each other. So if I would drag the red layer on top, you can see now that the red layer is on top. And if I would take my eraser tool now, you can see the blue layer appearing because we're cutting through it. I could also go and let me quickly duplicate that, and let me just make a green one from here. Maybe a bit of a lighter color. So now we have, and I can rename that to layer 3. Now we have 3 layers on top. And again, you can see this or explain this through the piece of paper. We have the red piece of paper, the blue piece of paper, and then all the way on the top we have the green layer, the green piece of paper. Now, if I would take my eraser tool and select the green layer, and I would go and cut, we are now cutting until the blue paper. Now, if I would select the blue layer here, and let me just go a little bit more here on the green one. If I would select the blue layer, and I will cut now with my eraser to it, where do you think we're cutting to? We're cutting to the layer underneath it. So then the red layer will appear. So I know this might sound maybe not completely clear, but like I said, it will become a lot more clearer throughout the course and definitely in the third section while we will be working a lot with them. Now let me go and touch upon what layer masks are and what they are for. These here are the layers, and when we were working with the eraser tool, we wanted to reveal some of the red layer here. We are in fact working destructively, because right here you can see we are in fact damaging our layer. We are working destructively in Photoshop. Now we don't want to do this because we're damaging our original file here. Using layer masks, we can in fact work non-destructively in Photoshop and leave our original file untouched but still do edits on it. So let me show you how to do that. Creating a layer mask is very simply done by having the selected, the layer that you want to put a layer mask on. In this case, we want the top one here, the blue one. Hitting here, down here on the square with a circle in it, and pressing down on it, you will see now a white mask appear, and that's a layer mask. Now, we have to select that. We have to select that to work on the layer mask. And here, the colors black and white, they are very important colors. Now we need to use the brush tool for this, and the brush tool is over here, or we can use B for the shortcut for the brush tool. And again, I will go into those tools in a minute, and also touch upon shortcuts and everything. That's in another lesson. So if you're like, oh god, slow down, I can't follow, we will all come to learn about these things in steps. But we need to use the brush tool to work on layer masks, and we need color set to black and white, and on default it is set on black and white. If you've been playing around and you got some weird colors going on, you can just press on D, which will reset those colors. It's the shortcut for resetting the white and the black color again. Now what you need to remember is white reveals, black conceals. So white reveals, black hides. If I will paint now with black in this mask now, we are in fact hiding away the blue. We are in fact hiding away from this mask here, the effects. If we want to bring that back again, hitting the X, which will switch it over now to white, we can reveal that mask again. And you can see. So hitting X, black, conceals, we hide the blue now. And with the X on white, we reveal the blue. Now you can see here, let's make a face from it. You can see here that we are making those adjustments on the mask. And if we look here on the layer, it's completely untouched, nothing happened to it. But here on the mask, you can see the smiling face. And if you hit Alt and you click on it, you can see exactly those adjustments that you've made on there. So we are working non-destructively when we are using layer masks on the layer.